The Active Directory Migration tool lets you move computer and user accounts between domains. I've opened Windows Explorer and am browsing the installation disk for Windows Server 2003. In the i386 folder, there's a subfolder named ADMT. That's the Active Directory Migration Tool folder. In the ADMT folder, there's an admigration.msi file. That is what you need to use to install the Active Directory Migration tool. I've already installed it on this machine, so let's go ahead and run it. To run the Active Directory Migration tool, click Start, browse to Administrative Tools, and select Active Directory Migration tool. Now that we've opened the Active Directory Migration tool, notice that on the Action menu, there are a variety of tasks that you can perform. All of these tasks will help you migrate from an NT domain, for example, up to a Windows Server 2003 domain, or migrate various objects from one domain to another. As an example, let's migrate a user account from one domain to another. I'll select the User Account Migration Wizard, click Next, and we have the option to test the migration settings and migrate later, or migrate now. We'll go ahead and migrate now. Click Next. We need to select a source domain. We'll migrate a user from a domain named Domain2 to a domain named WestSim. These are NetBIOS names. Click Next. And now we'll look for a user account that we want to migrate. We're looking in Domain 2. I'll just click Find, select the user, and click OK. Click OK to add that user to the list. We could add more. Then we'll click Next. Now we need to enter a target OU where we will put that migrated user account. We'll browse, and notice we're looking in the target domain. The user will be a member of the sales department, so we will select the sales OU and then click OK. It enters a fully distinguished LDAP name for us. We'll then click Next. You have various options when you perform the migration. You could translate roaming profiles, update user rights, migrate user groups. Groups must be migrated along with user accounts for users to maintain the permissions that they receive through those groups. You could also rename this account as you migrate it. We'll go ahead and select the default options and click Next. Notice the warning that global groups are not currently being migrated along with the user. So if permissions were granted through those global group memberships, those permissions would be lost. We'll go ahead and accept that consequence. Now we get another opportunity to rename the accounts. In this case, they would only be renamed if they conflict with an existing account. In our case, we will rename any conflicting accounts by adding a suffix of 2. Click Next to continue. And here's a summary of what our user account migration wizard will perform. We'll finish the wizard and perform the migration. The migration has completed. Unfortunately, there was an error, but we'll go ahead and close this. You've now seen how to install the Active Directory Migration tool, open it, and perform an action with one of the wizards.